Okay, this is a preliminary recording. I'd like to take this and make a PowerPoint presentation out of it, but so that you guys have something to listen to, I'm going to make this video and upload it, right? So there's this guy, I think his name was Wansu, I don't remember his name, but you might want to remember, have you ever heard of, did you ever hear of, okay? This one, have you ever heard of Gwangju? Kind of normal. This one may be more like some scary story from the past. Did you ever hear of the famous pirate Jack Sparrow? Okay, but this is normal. And again, ever makes it even stronger. So if you take it out, have you heard of da da da? Have you heard of Gwangju or whatever? Have you heard of that? But stronger, have you ever heard of Gwangju? Pilots take off from that airport. From that, it's a civilian airport. Civil airport, weird, but civilian airport I would use. I think these words get mixed up, and I'm going to look at more of the definitions. But civil, you know, he's very, hey, let's be civil here. He's a very nice and civil man. He's not rude, he doesn't attack people. But opposite of military is civilian. Anyway, down there near that airport, not Gimhae, but the other place, there's a lot of open air space. It's really out there in the country. Shigul countryside. It's very countryside okay, right? For my movie, I chose Ironman. I chose Ironman. I chose the movie Ironman. The villain is a very bad. The villain for Ironman is I think he's a businessman. Remember, shoot at is you're trying to kill him. He kept shooting. He's shooting at us, isn't he? Isn't he? He fired his machine guns at. He shot at. Iron Man or Tony Stark was in a cave, but he shoots his machine guns at the door. Anyway, his robot that is loaded with machine guns. Anyway, now I want to discuss some issue. All right, use these two. Discuss about. I think you said Seesaw, but you know that's that children's toy. Anyway, for about 500 won, you can buy some food in a convenience store. It's quite cheap. Many times you talked about him. You talked about Momomo, because you mentioned him many times. Because you were saying that. Yeah, here was the problem. Saying that Momomo. Because you mentioned Lee Sun-shin many times, I wanted to tell you that there's a statue of him in Mokpo. The way you know him. Now, he's the same. He's kind of disinterested. Oh, Shingonman. Don't take it personally. Don't get me wrong. You don't have to think it's your fault. People are often misread him. Boy, that was very heartwarming. Sangsu, we talked about Guam. The sound of that name is kind of strange. It's named after the first delegates of Momomo. And it's the same with the airport also. It's the same thing. The airport and the island are named after the same thing. The wind coming off the ocean is very strong. Actually, Jeju, I guess in Guam, the wind coming off the ocean is very strong. So when I land, the weather is usually nice, or not very nice. Every time I land, the nice weather, it just kind of hits you. You enjoy it. This is how I feel about Hawaii. Every time I fly to Hawaii, I feel really good. Anyway, a lot of the locals in Guam have this special handshake or greeting, all right? Yeah. Which handshake is that? Okay. Uijangbu, used for up, north. Over in Olympic Park. Anyway, so there's about 4 or 5 buildings that look like mine. I think you talked about your house. When I look out the window, all I can see is buildings that look like mine. I want a better view. Looking out the window, all I can see are buildings that look like mine. During my stay there, all right, you can make a lot of connections through the barbershop. The conversation topics are different every day. Yes, a local barbershop is a good place to meet, make friends. One of my favorite foods there is momomo. All right, so a lot of customers requested the momomo. Chef is the cook. Chief for the Indians, or chief pilot. They make the food very kind of soft or mild. It's very delicious. Or they changed the taste and it wasn't so spicy or loaded with spice. It had more of a mild taste. Now I want to talk about this violin player. He or she's a prodigy. You gotta be careful with the pronunciation. A violinist. She enrolled in Juilliard, or in some famous university. Anyway, she continued her university studies. Then she became a cultural ambassador for the U.S. An ambassador to. She's an ambassador for the United States to Korea, to North Korea, right? Anyway, her performance was very powerful and she was full of emotion. Sometimes Koreans, they don't use this word. They should use the word place. Chari, for her place, right? Anyway, so I'm looking forward to enjoying the flight courses here, or going through the courses with my friend, with the other military guy. In 15 years, we had never met. I know people who he knows, right? I had not met him until we both started working here. Okay, I want to talk about a movie. The main actor is so-and-so, right? Anyway, there's a guy and a girl. They're falling in love. They fall in love for the first time. But she does not believe in love at first sight. Adam also does not believe in love at first sight. Oh, the movie, I think, is Serendipity. It's one of my favorite movies. It's the best movie for me. My best is You Made It, right? It's the best movie I've ever seen. It's my all-time favorite. It's my favorite movie. Anyway, now I want to talk about my father. My father, you know, he made sure to take care of his family. He was really motivated to take care of his family, to make whatever sacrifices were necessary. Sometimes he puts pressure on me. He's stubborn and he wants me to do things his way. It's always all about him, about the family for him. His family came first also. His family always comes first. Anyway, we were born to do something, and I think he was born to be a dad. Written off means thrown away. For example, you're good at drawing, but another guy, he says, that's a waste of time. Drawing is stupid. He just wrote off the kid's animation skills. A lot of people think animation is just for kids, but it's not. A lot of Koreans will say, he's good at, they will say, he sings songs. Yes, we know. You can also say, he's very good at singing. Because obviously if you sing a song. So he's very good at singing. I want to talk about Guam. It's the Hawaii of Asia. When you fly there, the pilots, they really have to be careful for Nimitz Hill. They really have to watch out for Nimitz Hill. Alright. Get this, reveal his name, let you know his name. I think this was about some secret. I'm not going to tell you who this guy is, but you can probably guess who he is. Somebody had a secret for me. He has a sense of taste. His sense of taste is very strong. All right. His sense of taste is very strong. If I could do one thing for him, if I could have one wish, if I could get him anything in the world, if I had one wish for him, I would wish for him to fall in love and get married. I would wish for him to get his dream job, right? Anyway, they have this airport has the second longest runway in the world. They have one of the only runways in the world that can handle the space shuttle. Oh, this is about Hawaii. You know, they can't handle much traffic from other places. When I went to Hawaii, it wasn't what I thought it would be. It was different. It wasn't what I was expecting. Right? His family hated music. They didn't really like music in their family. Remember, die as once. He died. But Jesus came back to life. Jesus was dead, but now he's alive. Okay. Oh, this movie. This children's movie people kept talking about. Only the members of the group who had people who had passed on could do this thing. I couldn't forget what my son said after he saw this movie. Right? My son said, "Who's going to remember me, though?" Oh, I can't remember who said this. They stayed with me. The transportation was very convenient. Oh, I think this is Choi. This might be down here. I want to talk about my friend. There's a 14-year age gap. We have a 14-year age gap between us. I am 14 years older than she is. That's a lot older than is it your wife? We have known each other. We've been friends for 14 years. That's different. She heard that she looked like some famous movie star, and since then she hasn't let it go. She hasn't forgotten it. Somebody told my wife that she looks like so-and-so movie star, and since that time she's always talking about it. Okay, I want to talk about my friend. Oh, this is about Cheho, I think. He's a patriarch. That word's too formal. He's more of a conservative father. His parenting skills leave much to be desired. This means he's a bad parent. And then Junsop, I think, said this, and then he made a joke because he was the master of comedy. His comic acting was the best. He's a comedian. Oh, this guy on this famous Korean comedian who was guilty of sexual harassment. I was very disappointed with him. I really felt let down. It came out that he had sexual harassment charges. He had sexually harassed people, all right? At first he denied the charges, but then later they had evidence and he admitted what he had done. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so now I'm going to talk about him. To know this guy, to know my friend is to love him. If you know my friend, you'll love him. Pretty much everybody who knows him loves him. Oh, this movie. But on the Day of the Dead, he was able to go to the Great Beyond. Great Beyond is heaven. Anyway, this was the biggest in the world, but it's since dropped to 5th place. Now it's in 5th place. I forget what this was. All 4 of those kids are from his first marriage. All right. Let me talk to you a little bit about Gumdok. It's very close to the main area of Seoul. It's easy to get to the center of Seoul from there. Right? Okay.